folks, welcome to the channel Rockin' the Country. I'm Don. First, I have to make up for something I wanted to do in the last video. I meant to do it in my last video, the one Marty Robbins, The Ballad of the Alamo, which Montauk Ed made a request for, and I put the shirt on, and I forgot to show it to you guys, so I'm showing it to you. Hold on. There we go. Just to let you know I'm thinking about you, Ed, but I also love this shirt. Sean came down a little bit ago and into where I'm doing my recordings, and I didn't have one of these outer jackets on, just the undershirt, and she saw it. She's like, "It's a really cool shirt." I'm like, "Montauk Ed sent me 2 of them," and so I said, "You can have one of them." Anyway, I'm doing a gift request. funRonni made a gift to the channel, so thank you, Ronnie, for this. Yeah, I always smile when we all have images in our head of not so much necessarily what someone looks like, though we do form those, but more or less like what they'd be like to hang out with. I think it'd be a lot of fun. So I don't know if you got in trouble when you were in school. I'm guessing you were probably a pretty good girl when you were in middle school, high school, and all that stuff, but that you had your fun, but within limits, whereas I was crazy. So go figure. But you made a gift to the channel for me to do Loretta Lynn's The Heart to Start Over. And you said there are so many sides to Loretta. Fist City is a great song, but she sang many other songs. This one, have you ever had a fight with someone you love? Here's a song she chose for that subject, end quote. So, yes, we generally fight with the people we love. It's that odd dichotomy or the tension that exists in things. You've got to have some tension to exist in things, otherwise you just be like jello. Yeah. When you're around another human being, day after day, week after week, month after month, year after year, decade after decade, you could count on there being differences. And sometimes, usually when you're tired, not always, but let's see how Loretta presents this one. Should I be scared, Ronnie? Should this scare me? Oh, it sounds delicate.
The hour is late, honey, make no mistake about it. We lessen our chances the longer we lay here and doubt it. If we're ever to scale the wall in our hearts, we must bury the pride that has torn us apart, while there's still a chance for finding the heart to start over. Oh, giving in to get back to where we have been means giving up some ground that we strongly defend. So the logic of race, baby, for us to begin is finding the heart to start over. How to turn off the hurt is something we can't quite remember. We forgot what it's like to turn out the light and surrender. So we carry our fights right into bed, where we cling to our pillows and bury our heads when we both could be reaching instead for the heart to start over.
That's good. That was a good development. Was that the first time in the song that we heard the lyrics that are the title track? The words? But I like that though. I mean, it just depicts what's real and how it works. And I'll get into. I know there's a verse in the Bible that says, "Don't let the sun go down upon your wrath." And I have naturally, I have a lot of thoughts on that. Have had over the decades, but it's one of those things that you're at a distinct disadvantage if you take that verse literally to mean don't be angry when you go to sleep. Because if you have a disagreement 3 minutes before you normally go to, let's say, just pick a number, you normally go to bed at 9 o'clock, and there's a disagreement at 8:57. You got 3 minutes to resolve it. That puts a lot of pressure on you. Generally, a lot of pressure and having to work quickly means you formulate your words poorly, which means that you're going to exacerbate the situation, not make it better. So, a literal interpretation of that, I disagree with. But I think it just really means like try not to let the sun go down upon you. Try not to go to bed angry, not because it disrupts your sleep and all that kind of stuff, but just try to, what she said, instead of reaching for one another, that's supposed to be a place of rest, emotional rest, mental rest, physical rest, laying down in bed with somebody generally. When you're married with somebody and for years and all that, that's what it's supposed to be, just a place of safety, and that you want to try to maintain that. I believe is the import of that verse, and that's kind of what she alluded to there, without going biblical.
Oh, giving in to give back to where we have been means giving up some ground that we strongly defend. So the logical place, babe, for us to begin is finding the heart to start over. Finding the heart to start over.
That's the beauty of language, because the expression, don't judge a book by its cover. And I simply say that's exactly how you judge a book. That's where it starts. And does it interest you? Marketing experts pick the right font, the color, the layout, the everything for a title of a book. And so you're judging whether or not you want to pick the book up. You're not necessarily judging what's on the inside of it, but you're judging whether you want to pick the book up. And the same thing is true with song titles. You'll hear a song title and you're like, oh, that's probably going to be about a breakup. It's probably going to be about a drinking story or whatever. It can be anything. And in this one, The Heart to Start Over, you think, all right, there was a bad breakup. And do I want to start over in another relationship? But that's not it. It's just you got to have the heart to start over, basically being in love with the person that you're in love with anyway, even though you had this big argument. And getting over the wall and laying down your pride, giving ground. But really, it gets to like, where am I wrong? Where could I have been misinterpreted? Maybe I didn't even mean anything that was wrong, but how could it have been interpreted? Something I did, something I said, something I'm saying, a position I'm taking, something I thought you said, and you didn't mean it that way. So when you lay down your emotional and mental weapons and sort of dial it back and be like, okay, what would happen if I actually just shut up and listen in this moment? Took a deep breath, remembered a good thought, because when you're angry, you're not thinking good thoughts, you're thinking bad thoughts. But even if you're angry and frustrated, but like, all right, I'm dialing it back in this moment. Let her talk. Let him talk. Let me hear it. And let me seriously try to consider it. Even though I've got this adrenaline running through my system right now, but I'm going to dial it back just to try to understand and see where I could give ground. The biggest, like the battlefield of life is in the mind. It truly is. Like when you think somebody else said something or they're misunderstanding you or whatever, it's, you've got thoughts connected to it. And if this is the mind, I mean, that's where the brain is, and we frequently, reductionists in the philosophical sense just say that we're a composition of molecules reacting to stuff, and there really is no such thing as free will, and there's no such thing as a mind, which is something that we conceptualize as sometimes external to us, like the soul or spirit. So the mind is something separate from the brain, yada, yada, yada. But all that stuff aside, when you're in an argument, just sort of like dial it back and realize on that battlefield, you might have taken some wrong steps, or unintentionally, they may have been misunderstood. You actually could be misunderstanding the other person. Have the heart to start over and say, all right, how did we get into this argument to begin with? And one thing I've noticed is that anytime I'm generally a happy guy, seriously, just sort of like happy go lucky. I have thoughts in a lot of things, but I could get along with people who think very differently than I do on stuff, whether politically, religiously, and musically, sports team. I could get along with just about anybody. I'm going to be dead one day. I like to get along with people along life's path. But when I get upset, generally people know I'm upset. And people pick up on subtle differences in me because I don't I generally have a high energy and a friendly energy. But if I'm withdrawn or sullen or in some way otherwise, even 10% off my game, people tend to notice it. But there are times when I get really upset, and then nobody has to guess because I know how I am most of the time. It's really, 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 really chill, really supportive, really kind, really thoughtful. I know this. By age 63, you ought to be able to say that about yourself. And you'll also be able to know some of the areas that you're susceptible to being a jackass, which I know those too. It tends to be when I'm tired, it tends to be when you're tired. Now, some people are jackasses even when they have high energy, and then they're worse when they have low energy. But all that said, that's something to pay attention to is when you're tired, just sort of dial it back a little bit. Like, all right, I don't want to engage in this right now because I'm not thinking clearly because I need sleep. Anyway, oh, funRonni, look what you did to me. For a minute there, I thought this was a Montauk Ed request because he always gets me yakking in the songs that he requests because he's very good at that. And he and I are very much alike in ways. But funRonni got me going on this one. You did that on purpose. Anyhow, I'm going to rate this song. I'm putting this in the premarital counseling playlist too. That's where this is going as well. Just, it's very good to realize what's coming down the pike when you get married. But uh-oh. This is perfect. Don't be mad at me, but it's a Montauk Ed special. Oh, yeah, wait. It's an 8.9. You could blame Montauk Ed for that. I thought it was a good song. Instrumentally, it was meant for Loretta. Um, and it's very good advice. So, folks, if you have somebody about to get married or you're about to get married and you want to know what thoughts maybe you might want to have in your head about what's coming, what can come, and what to look out for, and all that, the premarital counseling playlist is for you. And it's right there. All right, Ronnie, thank you very much, my dear. Have a great day, folks. I'll see you on another video. Keep rocking the country.